Welcome to Venture TV. I'm here with Jeff Sutherland. Jeff is the father of Scrum. So this is the perfect place to ask you, how did you get the idea of inventing Scrum?
Well, it was actually in a big bank where it started, where I was hired away from a medical school. I was a medical school professor.
All right.
Before that, a fighter pilot. And I walked into the bank and all their projects were late. I went to the CEO and I said, they're doing it all wrong. Give me a business unit in the bank, I'll show you how to fix it.
All right.
And that was the first prototype of Scrum. I just did what was obvious to me.
Yeah.
It's what I had done in medical school research for years. I'd been working closely with Bell Labs. I knew how they ran their small teams. And so what the banks were doing, I thought, was just unbelievably wrong. And I fixed it, started fixing it. And so that was the beginning of Scrum. Scrum was formalized, not formalized until many years later. We kind of standardized it for everyone.
So the basic idea was not even that hard, so it just came up to you and you had the feeling that you somehow had to change something.
Right, right.
Yeah.
When the projects were late, you know, then the management was making the teams work overtime, they were working weekends, they're getting burnt out, and the management would have more reports, more meetings, and everything was just making people less happy and more burned out. It wasn't working. So I said, I said to the CEO, I can show you how to fix this, but I need an entire business unit. I want to run a little company within the bank to show you how to make this work.
Now Scrum is taking over the world. I know so many startups who are using Scrum. For those who do not use Scrum out there, how can Scrum help them to become better?
Well, as my book says, Scrum is the art of doing twice the work in half the time.
Yes.
So
pretty good explanation.
If you don't need to do that, then you don't need to do Scrum.
Everyone needs to do that. But how do you reach that? Like, what's the method behind it?
Well, the method is, it's written in that first paper that two Japanese professors wrote, where they identified Scrum project management. What they saw was really high-performing teams at Toyota, Honda, places like that, working really closely together with really aggressive goals and collaborating, cross-functional teams, choosing their work, deciding how to do the work, the management backing off and asking more like investors, here's our objectives, here's some money and equipment, tell us what you need, but it's your job as a team to figure out what to do. So it's this self-organizing, self-managing teams that are great, and getting that working, that's the Agile leadership challenge.
To clarify some words, what is Scrum in comparison to Agile, and then you have Lean, so how would you place that?
Well, Scrum is what Takeuchi and Tanaka saw when they went to Toyota and they looked at new product development. Okay. They called that Scrum.
Why, by the way? Where does the name come from? They said
it reminded them of the game of rugby, and the teams were working so closely together, so intensely, that they said, we're going to call it Scrum. That's what we took the name. So,
good to know.
Now, the thing that Scrum did, though, was it brought the customer onto the team in the role of the product owner, which is also what extreme programming did, brought the customer onto the team. So when we got together at the Agile Manifesto meeting, we said, what are we going to call this, where we have short iterations, high-speed development with the customer on the team? They said, let's call it Agile. Now, the reason was, someone had read a book about 100 lean companies that said they were agile because they were now involving the customer on the team. So they're all interlinked.
So now you see how it all works together.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Thanks for letting us know. For you guys out there who want to know more about Scrum, what's the best resource? Where can people go who want to learn more?
I am going to be in Stuttgart in June doing some Scrum training. Anybody who wants to spend 2 days and really learn what this is all about should go to Scrum events on the web and sign up, spend 2 days with me.
Stuttgart.
If you can't come to Stuttgart, you can get the book on Amazon, Scrum, the art of doing twice the work in half the time. And the book is a good illustration of all of my thinking that led up to Scrum. And
It's having a website where people could go to?
they can also go to scruminc.com, and in the search box, if you put anything in there, it sends you to what we call Scrum Lab. And so all the papers, all the research, there's 30 or 40 online courses about every aspect of Scrum. Cool. So Scrum Lab is a really good resource for people.
Good resource. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.